All right, what's up, people? We're gonna do a quick show tonight on the day one of the Diddy trial. They did the opening statements and had the first two witnesses up there today, so we're gonna go through all that stuff. How you doing today, man?
All right. All right. Just hear the dogs barking outside. You got these morons cutting through yards.
Oh yeah, I got you. Well, at least they're doing their job, right?
Yeah, yeah, always.
Letting people know there's other fuckers around. That's always good.
Yeah, that's why dogs are great. Yeah, I didn't get to see none of the anything that happened today
Right on. Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to it while I was working.
on the P Diddy thing.
And then I went and like I said, I listened to it today while it was going on. I listened to a couple of different channels that were doing a live, and I checked out some of the news. But afterwards, I went and I found a couple of the articles that gave a play-by-play. I found one that has at least has a good gist of the opening statements. You know what I mean? Like none of these news outlets give like a full transcript of what was actually said. There was a couple of videos that did a little bit better of a job, but I don't want to play them and get struck. So I just found a couple of articles that give a solid play-by-play, and then I found one that's got like a good gist of the opening statements, gives a good tone of
I couldn't
what each
watch it.
side is trying.
I couldn't watch it on TV because I sold my TV for some marijuana today, a marijuana cigarette.
Well, luckily it's not on TV, so you lucked out. You didn't lose
Oh,
nothing,
good.
man. They don't have it. Yeah, they don't have cameras or recording devices inside the federal court. So basically, when I tell you like I have the play-by-play, essentially what was going on is these reporters that were in court, they were like on X, Twitter, or like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. They're literally like writing paragraphs
Well,
as the
some
trial's going down.
trials there's some trials they let go. What's up, Uncle Edwin? Some trials they will let go on, but others they won't. This one's like a federal one, I believe people said, so it's not allowed.
Right. That's why I said, yeah, it's a federal trial. So there's no recording devices of any kind, especially video, allowed in there. But they are allowed to type and report anything they want, text wise. So they just literally were sitting in court and typing out, like I say, in the different social platforms exactly what was happening. And then they published it today in a couple of different articles what was going on. So I've got a couple of good play-by-plays that covered everything I heard today, which was fucked up and not good for him at all. I don't see it. The defense made me sick. First, I'll tell you that right off the bat. And I've got no love for the New York court system, especially the federal system. Those people are some of the dirtiest people in the world. Don't get me twisted, but the defense really makes me sick in this trial. The way that they're just auto painting people as whores and gold diggers,
Yeah, they're
and
gonna do that.
like so they in one the guy is violent and a drug addict and beats the shit out of women and is a domestic abuser, and then the next uh, breath they're like, oh, but they stayed, and sometimes they hit him back, and I'm just like, just traffic, go walk in traffic, dude.
Yeah, well,
Go
that's
walk.
why those other attorneys dropped off of his shit, probably, right?
It's bad, bro. The two people that testified today, the first one was he's a police officer, that's his job, but he also works as security, or at least did, for this hotel where we saw the video, right? The big famous video of him in the towel beating the shit out of that poor woman.
Yes.
He was the security guard in the hotel on that night and came into contact with both of them. We're going to go over all of that here shortly. That was the first witness. The second witness, bro, dude, it makes you want to vomit in your mouth over and over and over and over and over again. This guy's entire testimony was so degenerate and disgusting and gross, man.
Really?
Oh, fuck, dude. I mean, I'll just give you a quick tidbit. Like, this had me sick in my chair while I was working. The male escort's like, yeah, she didn't want it. and she never liked it. But Diddy always used to make me piss on her and piss in her
Oh,
mouth.
yeah.
In her mouth, and Diddy would get mad at him and give him shit, and he would tell him specifically, don't let it all go at once. Make sure you make it last. Pinch it off every now and again. Make her
Wait, what do you mean though? Like, what make it last? What do you mean make
like
it last?
if you're peeing, bro, instead of just letting it flow, pinch it off every once in a while. Slow it down. Make it last.
Wow.
Bro.
Wow. That's disgusting. That's great. What is, once again, we've always said this, but what the hell is sexual about someone peeing on somebody?
That's one of the most disrespectful, disgusting things I can think of.
Yeah, that's fucking foul.
The stuff with like spitting or peeing or any of that stuff is just
all degenerate shit.
Disrespectful and really gross and
it's
not
satanic. There's nothing sexually about that.
You're demeaning them unless you're getting off on somebody else being demeaned, right? Like it's fucking horrible.
Well, that's what it's got to be. He must like putting people down, must feel power for the guy or something, right?
Yeah, well, this guy, this male escort, he's describing, like I said, we're going to get into it all.
Was it the same guy from the, was it the Arabic dude from that?
No, this is not the sex slave guy. Okay, this is not him. No, this was a black male escort, one of the Giant Wang club that dude would hire and make Cassie and other women sleep with and just like do really, really foul shit with. He even made him, the guy was like up there describing how Diddy would make them role play. And he was like, but we weren't very good at it. It used to, it would make him angry and we would usually just move on to something else. But he would make them act like they had just met at an airport or like weird stuff and act out scenes for him.
Really? Or what, like role play, weird things like they just met or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like literally doing like improv so he could like be watching a porno. He would make these women have sex with these male escorts without protection because he wanted to see them bareback.
Ugh. That guy's a sick sodomite, man.
Yeah, the dude described how Diddy would literally sit in the, like I said, we're gonna get into all of it, but just to finish this off, he described how this guy would give him drugs, and after a while he had to quit, or he just decided to quit taking them. He didn't want them. He described how Diddy would fucking just sit there and like masturbate and videotape things, and yeah, we're gonna get into all it. It was bad though. That's what I'm saying. Like none of it was good. The cop shit was really bad. The testimony today, and the testimony from that male escort was absolutely fucking disgusting, and it was not good. He, like I said, when he was talking about the pee in the mouth, he said he was like she didn't like it, and it's not something she wanted to do, but Diddy would make me do it, and he described all of that stuff about how he would get mad if he like just went if he peed too fast or if he didn't pinch it back and lighten the flow and make it last longer and stuff. Yeah, bro, it was bad.
That's really foul.
It was bad, dude.
Yeah, he's guilty. Nitro, he's a sick puppy. That guy.
Yeah, this is the first day. This was like literally the first two witnesses. It's not off to a good start. And again, like the defense countered. We're gonna go through all this to make most people in here, and you and I usually have at least similar opinions when it comes to stuff like this. So I'm sure it's gonna make you sick too. The stuff that are the stance and the position that the defense take to try and discredit these things, or honestly, even when they don't try and discredit it, bro, but they try and like normalize it to make it more acceptable. Like they just remind you like, but it's not a crime. Yeah, it's gross and it's disgusting and you don't like it, but it's not a crime. It's like, fuck you, dude. No.
He forced him to do it though.
Well, right. Coercion with violence and drugs and everything else. Right. Exactly.
There's videos of him kicking the hell out of that girl. Right. Like,
oh yeah.
And a million other people saying like this guy likes doing this shit, or he beats us, or he holds record deals over our heads. It's predator stuff.
Yeah, that's 100% I saw that too. That's one of the things I'm sure that it's going to come up in these things that we're reading today. That yeah, he would use the videotapes of these people and tell them, you know, I have videotape of you banging fucking, you know, 13, 14 different dudes and doing all kinds of gross shit and drinking piss and all this stuff. And if you don't do what I say or you don't continue to do what I say, then your career's over. I'm going to start putting this shit out or leaking it or whatever. And I'll make sure you never get a deal. Yeah, it's ruthless, man. It's fucking evil. It's disgusting. What's up, Gigi?
Yeah, I don't know how these people would want fame. Like, if that's the price of fame, you can shove it up your ass.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, 100%. I don't want to go to the party. Right? It's like I don't want to go to that party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not worth it, dude. It's not fucking worth it. That shit is nasty. Yeah, I'm not breathing the same air as these people.
No, hell no. That's disgusting. It's foul. There's nothing sexy about it. Yeah, that lady is a hero for coming out and fucking putting him on blast like that, for sure.
Yeah,
if she came out with that, he'd still be free if she didn't come out with that lawsuit and all that stuff.
Yep, and there's a few of them we're going to hear from apparently. So, like I say, just as a reminder, and why I wanted to do this today, you know, I don't plan to do like every single day of the trial for 2 months. That'd be with bots, but a couple times a week. You know what I mean? But I wanted to do today because it was the first day. You know, see what's going on with what kind of positions each side is taking. Get a sense for like the tone of the trial.
Any Bieber talk? Mentioning.
Not today. I've only seen like trolling type stuff when it comes to I don't think he's gonna be brought up or appear in this trial. I've seen a couple of like clickbait type of things on YouTube and stuff where they're like, you know, Justin Bieber might you know, show up and fucking testify, but it's like, yeah, but it for what? There's no charges up there for pedophilia.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no charges on there for they would have, you know, I joke, but the honest answer is like there's none of his charges have anything to do with Bieber, so they wouldn't use him as a witness. Like it's just not going to happen. Now, Lil Rod showed up to court. The dude that said that he was fucking buggered and all that kind of stuff. You know, Cuba Gooding was rubbing his taint and all that weirdness.
Yeah, the Little Rod guy, he's like a half a Finoik dude, but still doesn't deserve to be abused, you know.
That's right. He shouldn't be touched by any other man unless he says he wants to be, just like anybody else, dude. That shit's fucked up.
Yeah. If he's a Rickyune, that's fine, but that doesn't mean you can rip the guy and just take, you know, he still has the right to consent if he wants to do sodomite stuff or not, right?
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Maybe these people are really sick out there, that's for sure.
Fuck. Yeah, so let's kick into this. Let me grab a sip of my drink. I'm gonna, if you got it, smoke it. I'm gonna hit my bowl real quick, then we'll get in front of me.
Are you engaging in marijuana right now?
I'm engaging in the marijuana right now, my friend.
I have a little marijuana joint put away, but I don't know if I'm going to smoke it tonight.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, I'm finally just kicking back. Like I said, I sent you that link. It was when I sat down. I was out smoking a cigarette. I saw you guys kidding around the chat. I was like, all right, I'm coming.
Oh, yeah, Dustin was screaming. He was, start the show. Start it now.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial properly kicked off Monday morning as the jury was sworn in and the defense and prosecution offered opening statements. The government's opening statement from prosecutor Emily Johnson painted Combs as a powerful businessman who used his fame and power to grape, assault, and abuse various people for decades, and whose inner circle of bodyguards and other employees helped him commit and cover up crimes. The prosecution focused on alleged victims Cassandra Ventura and Jane, quote unquote. That's one of the unnamed ones. They're going by a false name, who's staying anonymous. They're both expected to testify this week. Throughout their 11-year relationship, Combs allegedly physically abused and sexually exploited Ventura, forcing her to take drugs and have sex with male escorts as Combs masturbated and secretly videotaped. These incidents, which Combs called freak-offs, took place in dimly lit hotel rooms that were pre-set up with supplies by Combs' employees, including staged hidden cameras. Combs allegedly used the video footage to blackmail Ventura and other artists that were signed to his record label. He told her he could destroy their careers by releasing videos of their performing sex acts on dozens and dozens of escorts. He had the power to ruin their lives. As Combs has asserted, all sexual activity referenced in his indictment was consensual. I doubt that highly. That's fucking bullshit. This case is not about a celebrity's private sexual preferences, they said, adding that the sex acts were coercive and criminal, the government says. In one alleged instance, Combs made a male escort urinate in Ventura's mouth. In another, she overdosed on the drugs he had given her while she still had an open bleeding wound on her face from his physical abuse.
What kind of drugs does it say?
Not in that paragraph, but we know that they were doing pink cocaine and a lot of ecstasy and like other kind of upper pills. I don't know.
Pink cocaine, is that like gay coke?
It's supposed to be laced with MDMA and other kinds of speed pills. Yeah, so that's pretty fucking crazy, dude. You're snorting coke with ecstasy in it, and coke's already fucking like upper speed, right? So what the fuck are you doing? You know? But it was supposed to keep people up, though. Remember, he's giving them all these other things that make them disoriented and fucked up in their brain. And then he's like dosing them with speed and shit. No wonder he had to give them IV fluids. And holy crap, dude.
Well, those cocaine isn't upper, so.
Right.
That's sick bastard.
But, dude, she overdosed in a hotel room during a freak off while she still had a bleeding open wound on her face from him hitting her.
Ugh.
Like, it's fucking horrific, man. That's fucking horrific. The prosecution said Combs' alleged abuse of Ventura was the tip of the iceberg of his illegal behavior, which also allegedly includes arson and the kidnapping of his own employees. Referenced other victims, including Mia, a personal assistant whom Combs allegedly raped, and another escort who says he witnessed Combs assaulting Ventura several times. In the defense's opening statement, Combs' lawyers argued that this case is about voluntary adult choices. Let me read that one more time for the people in the back. The defense's opening statement, Combs' lawyers argued that this case is about voluntary adult choices that the government is attempting to twist into sex trafficking. This is about Sean Combs' private personal sex life, said Combs' attorney. The government has no place in this man's bedroom. That shit's a joke, bro. Already just... All right, I'll continue. The defense did not attempt to portray Combs as a decent man. Well, it's a good thing because that's going to be impossible. Garagos told the jury directly that Combs was a dishonest and sometimes violent person who cheated on and lied to his multiple partners. She asked the jurors not to relate to Combs, but to consider whether he is guilty of the serious federal charges or not. He's not being charged with being a jerk. He said. At one point, Combs' lawyer told the jury, "You may know of his love of baby oil, but is that a federal crime?" So she sat there with a straight face and told these fucking people, "We know he's dishonest and violent and drug addicted. We know that he cheats on everybody and that he lies to everybody. But we'd like you to realize that there's no charge against him for being mean or a charge against him for being a jerk. And it's not illegal to have a love for baby oil.
Yeah, it don't look good so far.
One of the things, by the way, that we're going to get to it, I'm going to come across, I'll be reading it to you, but one of the things the male escort said that Diddy would get irate about and freak out and start getting mad and throwing temper tantrums about is if people weren't using enough baby oil.
Why?
He wanted everybody to be covered in baby oil and be shiny and slick and all that kind of stuff.
What a sicko.
That's what this stuff is for. Yeah. It's not like this is not for, they had lube. They had bottles. And remember, they had bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles of lube. They had a lube factory. The baby oil was for these people to smear all over their bodies so they were shiny like in porno.
That's sick.
It's weird.
Shining happy people holding hands. Wow.
Yeah, giving each other STDs. Yeah, that shit's crazy, dude. So, all right. Addressing the surveillance video that allegedly depicts Combs beating Ventura in a hotel hallway, the defense called Combs' behavior indefensible, horrible, dehumanizing, and violent. But it is not evidence of sex trafficking. It's evidence of domestic violence. But here's the problem. They're saying there's a male escort in the fucking room and he's dragging her back to one of these freak-offs. Okay, so we'll see about that as court goes on. Addressing the alleged victims, the defense said Ventura and the other unnamed witnesses were, quote, willing participants in their sex lives. Garagos said Combs' infidelity drove a primal jealousy in his partners and that the physical and verbal fights that defined these toxic relationships were caused by jealousy or drugs.
Yeah, okay.
What the fuck does that have to do?
Yeah, that's Mark Garagos' son, that guy. Yeah, what's that? All right, if it was, okay, it was drove by jealousy. He still beat the piss out of them.
Right, so you're just telling us, okay, the women were mad at him because they knew he was with other people. That's not what's happening right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, yeah, and but to your point, which is fair, you know, even if there were certain things going on and they were like fighting with him about that, it doesn't give you the right to beat the shit out of them. But what we're saying and what they're saying, these women and the government, they're saying, no. We have male escorts that are going to testify. One testified today, and he even backed them up and said he saw Ventura get beat up for leaving a freak off without permission.
Oh, all right.
Right? That they would literally drag these women back into the rooms if they tried to leave.
That's like hostage situations, right? Like,
right.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, and holding people against their will. Sure. False imprisonment, if you want to. I guess probably maybe depends on where you're at or the context of those things. But yeah, if you have to have permission, and remember, they would lock the door, all that shit. You know, he had staff and security fucking everywhere. It's not like you can just walk in and out of these rooms, dude. Even if the door wasn't locked. If they didn't want you to leave, you weren't going to leave. Think about the security teams that would be on these floors. The rooms were pre-set up by staff in the first place, stocked with a certain number of sex toys. They were stocked with all these fucking cameras that were hidden somewhere in the open. They were stocked with certain numbers of bottles of lube and baby oil and all that, everything you can imagine. And even the outfits too for the role playing.
Wait, they had outfits?
Oh yeah.
Like, what were they dressed up as, like doctors and shit?
Oh no, it didn't say. No, it had more akin to like themed lingerie. Like sex clothes, like sex kind of clothes. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to skip through some of this.
Sick fuck.
Yeah, for real, dude. All right. Yeah, so the official charges again are 5 counts. 1 for racketeering, 2 for sex trafficking, and 2 for transportation to engage in prostitution. Those are the charges against them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this other article. And we'll start going through the play-by-play. Let me get down here. Stupid fucking ads.
He had a whole little fantasy land, this sick bastard. And role playing, what was he like? Role playing as prostitutes, like, hey, get in the car. I don't get that. That's fucking weird.
The only one that was mentioned specifically by this male escort today was a scenario where they had to pretend that they had just met at an airport.
They have scripts and stuff.
No, they're supposed to. That's the thing. The male escort was like, we're not very good at it, and he would make us just stop. We would usually just move on to something else. And when they asked him for a specific, meaning that it was improv, that they weren't very good at making up that scenario, right? It's not because, yeah, he's like, Diddy's basically trying to make them like do a porno movie in front of him, like, you know, do the whole.
All right, like, hey, how you doing? Did you just get off this plane? Would you like?
There you go, exactly, dude. Hey, that was a long flight, huh? Let me see your penis, right? Like, this is freaking stupid, some stupid shit.
And him sitting there as the big cuck sodomite touching himself in the corner.
That's so gross, dude.
Yeah, that's some phenolic shit, man. Fuck that. Ugh.
Dude, it's really fucking nasty. It's just everything about that is nasty. Like, even you take away the fact that he's making two other people do stuff together that don't even know each other, and like very specific and nasty, even like with the pee and all that. But then he's not joining into that. He's in the corner like Gollum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking giving himself an old fashioned and getting mad at everybody for not taking their time or being shiny enough.
Yeah.
Just, ugh.
Super cuck.
Holy fucking shit, nasty, man.
Yeah, that's sick cuckold sodomite stuff, man. That's weird. What's up, Charles? This guy's looking terrible. I don't know why he should have took that deal. What's up, Roscoe? He should have just took a deal for like 15 years if they really gave him one. Right? Like, what an idiot. He's gonna get, if they let this guy gets off, it's off. There's no way this guy can get off, man.
Not of everything. That's what I've been saying. It's like, you know, okay, could he get off of any one of these? Seems difficult. Like, I guess maybe he could get off of like the transportation, but some of these people are saying that they were literally flown different places, right? So I mean, if they testify to that, then at least that's on record. The drugs, you've got the drug dealer guy that's going to be coming in to testify. We know that. Plus the very first fucking witness, the very first escort we talked to today is talking about drugs. The other women that come in there are going to be talking about being drugged against their will or knowledge. You've got the arson that's part of the RICO specifically, and they have the dudes that did the arson that fingered Diddy for that. So I'm expecting that to come up. I don't see how he beats a lot of these. I don't understand how he possibly could.
And the Cassie thing, he's not going to beat neither. That's the one that's going to really bury him because there's video of it, right? Video is very powerful.
Sure. And then you're backing it up with this guy. Like, here, let me find a little small piece of it. Let's see. Where's it at? Is this it right here? Oh, here's one part from that male escort. Combs would beat Cassie over the smallest slights, such as leaving a freak off without his permission or sometimes for taking too long in the bathroom. He would throw vases at her face. He would take her into the room and you could literally hear her being smacked and beaten over the sounds of the party.
Wow.
There was one time he said she came running out of the room shaking and just fucking distraught and hopped into his lap. And he was scared that Diddy was going to come after him or send his security guards after him because she ran to him for fucking comfort or help or whatever. It's fucked up, man.
That dude's a real fucking perverted psychopath.
Yep. I'm trying to get to the.
Too bad it wasn't
All right,
on
let's see.
TV and nothing, right? Like,
Yeah, in the racketeering one specifically, those charges are kidnapping, arson, drug trafficking, drugging other people, drugging people for sex crimes, other sex crimes assorted, bribery, and obstruction. Those are all the charges underneath his RICO. Shit's crazy, man.
yeah, that's I don't know how he's gonna get away from all of them. He might be thinking he'll pay for
No.
a pardon in the future from some president. Maybe he's guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the things the defense said was Sean Combs is a complicated man, but this is not a complicated case. This case is about love, jealousy, infidelity, and women that want money. There's been a tremendous amount of noise around this for months, and it's time to clear the noise. I hate these defense people, man. It's just like, you're sick scumbag.
Yeah. Want money? Like, huh? Like, no, he's having people urinate on them for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see. Where's it at? Fuck. Okay, here's one from the cop, the security guard, the first witness. His last name's Flores. It says Flores testified that he encountered Combs near the 6th floor elevators while responding to a security call for a woman in distress. Combs, excuse me, wearing only a white towel, was slouching in a chair, staring off, and then looked at him with a devilish stare and stared at him the whole time with his legs open. That's gross. Imagine being the security guard, walks off the elevator, and Diddy's just staring at you in a towel with his fucking legs open. That's gross.
Get a new
man.
job.
Yeah, right.
Get a
Dude.
new fucking job. Wait for your paycheck. As soon as he gives you that paycheck, screw. Who the hell? There's no amount of money that I would sit and like watch a door and chase girls down for some creepo. There's no amount of money.
Yeah, it says Flores, a Los Angeles police officer, said that he was escorting Cassie and Combs back to their room when she indicated that she wanted to leave and Combs wouldn't let her. Combs told her, "Bitch, you're not going to leave. You're not going anywhere." Flores, the cop, then said to Diddy, if she wants to leave, she's going to leave. And Cassie left. Combs came out of the room as Flores was walking away from the room, holding a stack of money with $100 bill on top, and told him, "Don't tell anybody." So he tried to bribe the fucking security guard. The security guard told him to get fucked and go back to his room. He was naked in the hallway like a freak. The second witness, Daniel Phillip, said he was a professional stripper who was paid $700 to $6,000 on some occasions to have sex with Cassie while Combs watched and gave instructions. They had a relationship on and off since 2012. So I guess he liked this particular stripper slash prostitute.
Yeah, that's they were a prostitute.
Oh, he's totally a prostitute. Yeah. Phillip told jurors that he stopped meeting with the couple after the last time. He just couldn't take it after the very last time he saw Combs throw a glass bottle at her and then drag her by her hair into a bedroom as she screamed.
Jeez, that sounds some Norman Bates shit, man.
Dude, it's fucking vile. It's vile. Where's the rest of this? I'm trying to find the...
Those jurors are going to end up hating this guy after hearing all that, man. In case he could pay them off somehow or something. I don't see how anybody's going to feel bad for him.
I don't know either, man. Especially if this is the way the defense is going. That defense shit's a joke. It's like off-putting. The
Yeah, we're not
defense.
saying he's a nice guy and all, but we're like, what?
Dude, and how do you tell a jury? Like, we know that he's dishonest. We know that he lies to everybody and cheats on everybody.
But
We
he's not
know that
lying
he's
now.
right. Exactly, dude.
But he's not lying. That's what lie is like. All right, you lied before, but are you lying now? That's why, like you admit someone's a liar. It's like, all right, then how do I believe this?
Yep. And then with a straight face, you add to that, we know he's violent and he's a drug addict and he's a jealous psycho.
But he could have never done
But
that.
but he's not charged with being mean, and he's not charged with being a jerk. And they're saying this with a straight face. It's absolutely fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man.
Absolutely fucking unbelievable. I remember. I'm trying to. I guess maybe I didn't save this last one. That's okay. I remember all this shit. Let me type it in real quick. It might come right up. If not, I remember.
It might last a month. It said 2 months. This trial.
2 months. Yeah, they're expecting it to take 8 weeks. Yep. Yep.
Man, I wish they could call up some fucking actors and stuff. Like, just find out who these real pervs are out there.
It says, okay, so here's another one from the male stripper. He said the first time that he was called over there, he thought he had been hired to dance for a bachelorette party. He didn't even know that Diddy was in the room.
Oh, really? Was he hiding? In the closet?
He was in the fucking no, he was in a dark corner.
Oh my god, what a creep! Oh.
Yep. So check this out. The very first time he went over there to a hotel room and met Cassie, he testified that he thought he had been hired to dance for a bachelorette party. But then Ventura answered the door alone wearing a wig, a red dress, and big sunglasses. Oh, a red wig, a red dress, or red lingerie and big sunglasses. Donaldson seemed to be trying to highlight moments when Ventura was a willing participant and an initiator of the sex. But the male stripper said Diddy was in the corner in the dark. He couldn't really see him. He didn't know that's who it was, but he was the one that was directing everything and telling her what to do. He was obviously the one in charge. The defense goes, yes, but it would appear that she was enjoying herself. Would that be fair to say? And Philip says, yes, I guess it was fair to say she was enjoying herself. It's like, you're a fucking scumbag. Didn't you just hear what the fucking guy said?
Like, enjoying herself. She's faking. If that's the case, she's faking it so she don't get beat. I highly doubt anybody enjoys someone urinating on them. Jesus Christ. Like, come on. Fucking degenerate fucks.
It's fucking insane, dude. It's fucking insane. I'm just running through this thing to find like the most important stuff because it's pretty long-winded.
Sick. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, it wasn't until later that he found out it was Sean Combs who was present for these first few encounters, usually sitting in a dark corner by himself masturbating. That shit is fucking gross, dude. Here he talks about when he saw Combs throw a liquor bottle at Ventura and hit her in the head because she didn't come over to him immediately when he said her name.
That's
and
like
called
she's
her
like
over.
his slave then, like, right? Like, that's what it is. He's treating her like a slave.
Yep. When this male stripper got upset on that first time seeing the violence, Combs had his security get a hold of the guy's stuff and took a picture of his ID in front of him for quote unquote insurance, basically threatening the guy's life.
Wow.
Yeah, his daughters got up and left the courtroom when they were talking about the male stripper doing Cassandra and their dad being in the corner jerking off like a
Oh
fucking
wow, his
degenerate
daughters
freak.
are in there. How embarrassing! They're all gonna
Yep.
hate him, and they know it's true. Their father's a filthy sodomite. Wow, they left the
Yep.
room.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They know who their father is. Yeah.
Oh, that says a lot. The two girls had to leave the room here in that fucking creepo shit. Dear old proud of dad.
That's fucking absolutely gross, man.
Yeah, that's my dad. Kill him if
Yeah,
you
it
want
says,
to.
yeah, he had yelled over to her from across the room, "Babe, come here." She did not come. He fucking hit her in the head with a liquor bottle from across the room and then drug her off and beat the shit out of her.
You could kill someone. I heard a story years ago where someone threw a beer bottle and it hit some like person in the head and killed them. It can make your brain swell.
Yeah, as he was dragging her off, he said, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, you come here now, not later."
Oh, what a skull.
And then he drug her back over to the male stripper and asked him, "Are you all ready to continue now?"
Huh? Wow.
Fuck, dude.
That guy should have left, right? Like, what the fuck? You see
He was
somebody.
getting paid. Yeah, bro. He wanted money though. He said he was getting paid $6,000 a hit.
Well, he is a sodomite degenerate, so you give those people money, they'll watch you kill 10 children, right? Most people, money.
Apparently, yeah. This guy was doing this for 10 years.
Well, let's just be honest. Money buys. Most 99% of the humans will sell out for money. They'll do things unthinkable things for money. It's disgusting.
It says during the specific or some of the specific directions for how he should have sex with Cassandra Ventura, the notes included always applying more and more baby oil onto their bodies. And he would often get irate and very, very angry when he didn't think that the people in the room had enough baby oil on them.
What the fuck?
Then he describes what I was telling you about, how he asked them to role play, but they weren't very good at it. He would get mad about that too and just ask them to move on. When asked for a specific case, he said that one time he told them to act like they had just met at an airport.
So he would have little scripts and shit for them and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, no. He would have them improv. He would just tell them, act like you just met at an airport and start talking. Yeah, improv it all. Yeah. And they weren't very good at that, and that would piss him off. That's what I was saying. Like, this dude's trying to make a real life like porno in front of him while he sits in the corner like Gollum. It's weird, dude.
Yeah, he's a pure degenerate.
Yeah, it's even weirder though that for the first few times he was going over there and doing her, he knew that there was some dude in the corner watching this fucking Diddy.
Oh, they don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
I know, but how insane is that when he found out, dude? That's fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, when he found out it was like some popular singer and shit. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, bro.
He must have loved it. He must have been like, oh, wow, there's money in my future.
Yeah.
It's going now. People are going to go easy on my ass.
Weirdos. Yeah. And there's like every case that they're asked. I'm like blowing past a lot of these cases because they're identical about how he would come to the hotel room and he would tell them this, that, and the other thing. He's going through the different times that he met with them. And each one of them is like, well, where was he? He was in the corner masturbating. Like, fucking dude.
Typical cuck. That's what cucks do.
Shit is so nasty, bro. And he would tip guys for having the bigger wangs.
Ugh.
Yeah, whoever fucking had.
Now, is he admitting being a sodomite? Like, is he trying to deny he's not a Ricky?
No, as a matter, I haven't gotten to it yet. But okay, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I remember hearing today was that the defense specifically bringing up how they asked the male stripper if it was not true that Cassandra told the male stripper not to ever touch Diddy because he wasn't gay. And the male stripper said, well, they told me not to touch Diddy. Right. So he didn't give them the whole line they were looking for. They were trying to press this dude in open court to say Diddy's not gay. He didn't do that. He just said it's true that they told me I wasn't supposed to touch him. And it's like, well, it's impossible for him to touch him because he's over in the corner.
He's in the corner.
He's not touching anybody.
That's sick bastard. What's up, Mandy? What's up, Louisiana?
Can you imagine being in a room like doing something like that and you just hear this voice going, more baby oil.
Yeah, I'm getting up and smashing his head open.
Like, okay, and flip, right? On your bellies now, please. Oh, you got to get your ass higher. Like, what the fuck, dude? What is happening right now? You're literally being directed by some hiding in a shadow.
Yeah, that's fucking creepy shit.
All of a sudden, you get hit in the back with a dildo that came flying across the room. Like, use this.
Yeah. Use this. Here you go.
Right.
Wow.
No shit, dude. Somebody throws a Gatorade at you and shit. You look thirsty.
Yeah. For a sandwich, you hungry? Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your energy up. Get hit with a sandwich.
Yeah, fucking. That guy's sick. Well, most of what he probably did is stayed in the corner because he probably didn't want these guys to rat him out, right? There was probably only a couple of male prosties that he went with, right? He probably wanted to hide in the corner for most of them, I'm guessing.
Yeah. They obviously this guy did learn who he was because they kept a longer term relationship with this specific male stripper. Like I said, it was about 10 years that
big bad tough guy, sucking prick.
Being called and taken around places. Yeah. He was the one, I guess, that they used most for the one-on-one encounters. It was Diddy's favorite. It was Diddy's favorite man to see fucking baby oiled and doing his old lady. Yeah.
What the?
$6,000.
They could shove that right up your ass. Like, shove it right up his ass. Like, fuck that.
Well, of course.
These people sell this.
Yeah, even if you're a sex worker, bro, you gotta have some kind of
even if you're some Ricky Yoon sex worker, you're some sodomite sex worker. Okay, when you see the dude beat someone with a bottle, like, once you're gonna leave, right? But they don't care. They're demons anyways, right? Anything for a fucking
drag a woman off, beat the fucking shit out of her, and then drag her back to your feet and be like, okay, you guys ready to get back to fucking for me now?
Yeah, that's complicit in the rapes, in my opinion.
Of course it is. I don't disagree with you.
Those dudes should be charged too. Like,
if you are doing this woman at that point, knowing that she's only doing this with you because she's afraid of pain or violence, right? Or whatever, any kind of a harm, emotional, psychological, whatever.
You're complicit.
And you do it anyway. That's
fucked up. Guilty just like he is.
Yep.
Degenerates, man. Funny though. Yeah, let us walk out of the courtroom. Though that's funny.
It doesn't look good.
I know that's why it's so funny. It's a terrible look for him. His daughters were so fucking disgusted, and they're like what, 16, 15, the twin girls.
I honestly don't know.
They're like teenagers, older teens, maybe 19 or something, maybe.
I got you.
Because they're women too, so they must have been horrified. Like, wow, my dad's capable of this shit. He sure is.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. The cop, the first witness, he said that he witnessed that her eye was just like purple and swollen. That's one of the things he attested to. He said that the jury saw photos of the aftermath of the assault that were taken by that same cop with his phone, including the broken vase and dirt splattered on the wall. He threw that fucking vase right at her on the video.
Yeah, I seen that.
I mean, that's all the proof you would need to believe the male escort saying he threw a liquor bottle across the room.
Yeah, we seen him throw that vase, and like I said, that thing hit you in the head. He could have killed that girl, and she's a pretty girl too. How do you beat how do you do that to anybody? But come on, you're supposed to love this girl and care about her, and you're beating her and letting dudes rip her and stuff. Fucking psycho, man.
Pee on them and in their mouth.
Yeah, and again,
man, I was like, like I just kept getting closer to vomiting when they were talking about that today in the play-by-play, and they were like, he peed on her. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what the fuck? And the male stripper's like, yeah, she didn't like it, and she didn't ever want to do it, but he made us do it. And then he would get really mad and tell me not to do it all at once. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. And they're like, you tell me to pinch it back and go slow and make her swallow it. And I'm like, okay, you guys.
Can't you die from like drinking urine? Isn't that like?
No, actually, it's totally sterile. The honest to God truth is you can drink your pee safely.
Oh, I thought you die from something like that.
No, but you can get certain things from other people's pee if they have STDs.
Oh well, and that girl's riddled with that poor Cassie.
Remember that janitor just got charged when we saw Trash on Blast. Remember that janitor was peeing in the office bottles of the people in the office? Yeah, well, he had STDs, and because they drank his pee, they all got the STD. I don't remember which one it was, but that was part of his charges. So, I mean, if the guy had a disease, then she did. Then sure,
she is. That girl's riddled with like herpes and all kinds of shit. The poor kid.
Well, the other thing that's gross too is that a lot of times he would insist or pay extra or tip extra and make them bareback have sex without. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's insanity right there. Why are you putting this? All right, you got these sick fantasies, but you're putting their life at risk. You don't know these perverted sodomites that you're calling over. What the fuck?
Yeah, and this is multiple girls too, right? We're just talking about the one today because we're talking about the male stripper, but these freak offs had mad fucking people involved sometimes. And now you're talking about you're employing sex workers. These people, that's what they sleep with X amount of people a day, and you want them all to go and do this without protection. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep, not fucking good. Not fucking good. The the fucking cop, when he said that he knew that the stuff was on security video, he came back the next day and the security video was already gone. So he knew that some fuckery had happened. And they were like, okay, well, then how did the video get leaked? And he goes, because I recorded it on my phone, knowing that somebody was going to fucking do this shit. Who
recorded it?
He goes, what? The cop did. Here, let me break it down.
That's
even
how it got
like
leaked?
a short version. Yeah, so the short version is this. The cop, and this is what he described, as soon as Diddy tried to bribe the cop, right? He's working as security, but for the hotel at this time. Obviously, he's not on duty as a cop, but I keep calling him the cop. So the cop, as soon as Diddy tried to bribe him, the cop was like, this motherfucker is going to be pulling all kinds of fuckery with the security in this building, right? He went down. He had recorded. First of all, he recorded part of the interaction in the beginning when Diddy was sitting in the chair. And as soon as the cop got off the elevator, he started recording with his own phone. So he caught with his own phone Diddy throwing the vase at her. He caught with his own phone when they were walking back down the hallway, and he told her, "You're not going fucking anywhere,
That's with
bitch."
the towel around him.
Yeah. The cop got that footage. Well, then when he left, he knew that there was going to be fuckery with the security in that place. So he literally, with his phone, played on the security. He played the security tape on the screen at work and recorded it with his phone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He recorded the footage. Yeah. So like Boomer
smart
style.
Though, smart move.
Yeah. So when the fucking video ended up missing and all that shit later on, I guess the leak is that video.
All right.
And I could be wrong about that, but that's the way I interpreted it. Either way, the cop did record it on his phone. That much is true. That's right here in the article in front of me.
Com said there was Combs fans outside screaming that he was innocent.
I'm sure. Here's another thing that it make you sick, but also make you laugh at the absurdity of it. The defense actually, with a straight face, made the argument that the video that everybody saw of Combs and her, the mixture of the tape that got leaked and the cops' security or the cops' phone footage. They're saying the whole thing should be thrown out of court and not shown because the published clips, some parts were sped up, other parts were obviously edited, and since it's not one solid video, it could make the assault look more violent than it is.
What the? It's like, wait, no, you see what he does on it, right? Like, come on, like that's.
And who cares what order it happened in?
That don't mean nothing. The end result was he was beating her and dragging her away. What more do you need to know?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. It's like, who cares what part like happened first, dude? If he was yelling and screaming at her, throwing a vase at her while she was at the fucking elevator, while he was like kicking her on the ground, punching her in the face and dragging her off by her hair. Who cares what sequence that happened in? All of those things happened. And the other one that's funny too, they said sped up. Well, who gives a shit? They're saying it being sped up can make it look more, make the assault look more violent. But no.
So if it was slowed down, it wouldn't look violent?
Right. Give me a break.
All right, come on.
Give me a fucking break. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
His defense is just really fucking desperate, right? Like, holy shit. You know, he's undefendable, though. Like, that's why he had lawyers leave.
Okay, so remember I told you when they're walking down the hall, Cassie told the cop, I want to leave. And that was when P. Diddy told her, you're not fucking going anywhere, bitch. You're not leaving until I say you can leave. And the fucking cop says if she wants to leave, she's leaving. So the cop walked her downstairs and put her into a black SUV and she left. Then the cop and the hotel front desk manager went up to Sean Combs' room to remind him of the hotel rules. Flores said Combs grew upset and grabbed the desk manager's phone when he thought the manager was recording him, requiring Flores to detain Combs by pinning him to a wall. Wow. Flores, who was the security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel, was recalling the day when he was called to the 6th floor for a woman in distress call. She had a purple eye, etc. We already went over that. Offered him a stash of cash. Yeah. It's fucking crazy, dude. Okay, where's the part about... Okay, that March, Sean Combs was caught on security cameras striking, hitting, and kicking Cassandra Ventura after she left their hotel room, where the government says a freak-off was taking place. So that's the part I was telling you before. Like, he wasn't just dragging her back to the hotel room.
He was taking her.
There was another man.
Yeah, he was taking her back to the freak-off, not to the hotel room for them to be together. He was taking her back to perform more sexual acts with this creep.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Common Mandy. He might think he might get off. That's why he didn't take the plea.
Combs bought the surveillance footage from hotel security for $100,000, man. Yeah, but it did not disappear for good. Last year, CNN was able to publish clips of the surveillance footage that they got a hold of. Yeah, okay, so there's your mixture right there. So it's a mixture of the clips CNN was able to get a hold of, which means somebody made one of those security people made a copy of it before they sold it to Combs. Good for them, smart. And then the cop has some of his cell phone footage. $100 fucking grand. I mean, dude, I'd call the police right after.
Yeah, what I would have done is, I would have took his money
and gave him a copy.
I would have took his money and said, yeah, no problem, P Sodomite. And then as soon as he left, I would have fucking gave that to the cop immediately.
Yeah, gave the copy to the cops. Yeah, I wasn't raised fucking Stu-Nod, bro. I'm getting my $100 grand, and you're still going to jail for being a scumbag miscreant. But I'm getting paid.
You're gonna give me the money, and I'm gonna turn this in so everybody can see what you do to this girl.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. All day long, every time we're getting that money, dude, and then turning your fucking ass in. because that's a woman crime. I'm not
No,
gonna feel bad
fuck
about
that.
that shit
Hell
for
no.
a hot second. I'm gonna be going and fucking
Yeah.
dancing.
No, when
Fuck
it comes to
you.
that shit, no. In case you're gonna kill the guy or something, which I'm not gonna shoot some fucking celebrity.
No,
No, I'm gonna turn the fucking cocksucker right in.
yeah, you're getting me $100,000, and I'm fucking turning your ass in. You're going to
Yeah, you
jail.
can't do that to people. I have nieces, girl cousins. I wouldn't want that done to them. Fuck that.
Yeah,
You
no
can't
doubt
treat
about
people.
it.
You can't treat people like that, even with all that money. Well, you can for a while, but now he's got to pay the pipe. I'm so glad his fucking daughters walked out. I hope they disown him.
It's got to be. I mean, I can't
It's
even
gonna be tough.
imagine. I can't imagine sitting there and they're talking about your
Yeah,
father.
yeah. They probably looked up to their dad their whole life, right? You gave him this life of luxury and privilege that none of us will ever know, right? And then they see that and hear that, and they know it's true. That's why they got out and walked out, because they know it's true. If they really believed their dad, they would have said Stolworth in there. They know it's true.
Yeah. Yep. No, 100%. They know who their father is. This is a person that even if they didn't see him strike a woman, they obviously know how jealous and fucking obsessive he is. They obviously know that he does drugs like
And they
the
know
way
the
that he does.
rumors
They know
about
that
Kim Porter, their mother. Remember that?
yeah, and that he throws these parties, that he has that fucking 100 by 100-foot outdoor bed for them to fuck on
Wait,
in the
what? Wait,
backyard.
there's a
It's just
bed that's what?
yeah, it's like, dude, yeah, it's like 100 feet by, I'm obviously being, hyperbolic, but it is easily like 40 or 50 feet by 40 or 50. It's an absolutely massive, gigantic bed that's kept in the backyard of one of his mansions that fits like fucking 60
What
people.
happens when it rains? They must grow water bed
Oh,
bugs in that thing.
well, I'm sure they've got some kind of waterproof, weatherproof material or
But yeah,
whatever.
that's a bed, a 40-foot bed outside, so all these weird fucking perverts can caligula themselves on it.
Yeah, it might have, to be fair, it might have even been temporary for that specific party. I don't know, right? But yeah, he had one of those in the back. All my point is, they see their dad doing weird shit like that.
Yeah, a guy at his age,
obviously,
with that kind of money in life, should be settling down with a nice woman. He's got kids, right? Watching his grandkids grow up, and like, that's this guy's. I'll bet any money, like I said before, when he was a young kid and his mom threw all those house parties, some dude slipped in the room and fucked with him. I'll always believe that about guys like that. It's weird.
yeah. At the very least, like I said, I would never doubt that is true. But even if it didn't, it definitely happened when he got into the entertainment industry, and those old guys started taking advantage of him and teaching him the way of the scumbag.
Yes, but here's the thing with that. Very true. But he wouldn't have liked it. He would have done it just for the money and the fame, right?
Well, yeah, and it's pretty well known that his first label job, he got fired from because he got caught having his assistant blow him in the office. And it was a dude.
Yeah, I heard
Josh
Jaguar Wright talk about that, where he said,
a lot of
if
people
I can make a man do that, what do you think I can make other people do, or something like that? Like,
yeah, I don't know about that. I just know that he literally got caught.
Wait,
they got caught.
His
in the
mom
office.
attended the freak offs. Wow,
That's nasty. That's super nasty.
mommy, piggy, mommy. Fucking hoa.
Yeah, well, fuck, dude. Who goes to one of those parties like that? What are you doing? Even if it wasn't your kid's party, that's a whole new level of disgusting and ick, right? Like, but even if it, you can't be going to shit.
Now, and who would want to do something like that? I remember being a teenager. If my mother walked in and caught me and my girlfriend kissing or something, I would feel embarrassed, right? Like, never mind some sexual shit. Like, that's your mother, man.
Or you've got dudes walking around with giant wangs and you're doing God knows whatever the hell it is you're doing and calling out instructions.
They
to
said he
people,
beat his mom
making
up.
them be all shiny.
They said he used to beat the mother up too, so he probably like has hatred towards her, but still loves her that it's his mother.
Kept her medicated and shit.
Mom is a Valium.
Yeah, here, have your fucking margarita. Yeah, he's just sprinkling weird pink cocaine or like weird downers in it. Yeah, tranquilizers and stuff.
Yeah, leopard print dress. Yeah, that's sick. Oh man, was the mother in court? Oh no.
Yeah, she was.
All right.
Yep, the whole family was
I'm so
there.
glad the
Yep.
little girls ran out though.
Yep, 'cause it looks bad for
Hell
him.
yeah. Fucking creepo.
Crazy shit. Yep. Because people are already waiting outside for day 2.
Well, yeah, I heard there's people that sleep in tents, like they're in tents too, to try to get like a spot in the courtroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's people literally, we're talking about the same exact thing. Yep, people are out literally waiting right now outside.
You know, if that was in my city, I would go down there and like interview the people waiting outside and ask them questions, probably.
Sure, why not?
And go like down the line, knock on their tent. Hey, who's in there? What do you think's gonna happen? And why are you here? And why are you sleeping? What, like, are you a fan? Not a fan? Right?
Dude, one time they called the male escort himself, but by the time the male escort showed up, she was so drugged out that she was hanging half on and half off of a couch. And Combs told him, I don't think this is going to happen today. So he drugged her too hard before the fucking prostitute got there.
He's lucky he didn't kill none of them overdosing those young girls.
Bro, no, I said it, bro. I've said this before to you, and I really mean it. I'm sure these motherfuckers have buried some hookers in the desert.
Oh, listen, there's without a doubt a few of those girls were killed. Yeah, you bet your ass,
dude. Well, yes, 100 fucking
ass. There was a few of those girls thrown away in dumpsters like they were.
Even she OD'd.
All right, yeah. Then the other women had to too.
That's what I'm saying. If the one that you keep closest to you OD'd while bleeding from the face from you beating her, yeah, bro, they lost.
Well, a lot of these, like, you know, Rothschilds and all these rich people, they have these parties all over the world with it. Like, why do you think Diddy's not ratting people out, right? There's parties where they snuff little kids out, kill women, all kinds of shit. These sick elites. That sounds conspiracious and shit, but it's true.
Tis Illuminatus.
Yeah, well, look at the Rothschilds parties in the 70s. They're wearing the Baphomet's heads and shit.
People are fucking out of their minds.
Hell yeah. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of dead. There's probably a lot of dead call girls and shit like that.
100, dude. Yes, 100. There's got to be. There has to be. It's what I'm saying. If the one that you keep closest to you and are watching and stuff like that ODs while bleeding from the face from you beating her, we've lost a few girls, man. Yeah, we've lost a few, and they're buried someplace fucked up. Yep.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, right? If you, like you said, you're willing to drug her like that, there must have been some other girl he did it to who died, and they just threw her in a dumpster or something like that, right?
Yep.
Animals.
Totally. Yep, totally. Dropped them off in front of a hospital randomly while they're, you know what I mean? They're already dead. They already overdosed and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. See, what I don't get is, like, all right, people do look at sex workers as the lowest of the low in society, but they're still human beings, right? You just can't dump some fucking prosty or kill some prostitute, man. Like that. That's somebody's daughter. It's a human being. Also, you might disagree or look down on what they do, but they're still humans. You can't just kill somebody or let someone die like that.
Here's a quote for you from the male. I've been going, like I said, I'm going through these different articles trying to piece it all together. That fucking male, the prostitute, one of his quotes from the trial, he tells jurors that sometimes he would be hired for he and Miss Ventura to just sit down and rub baby oil on each other while Combs masturbated and made loud moaning noises.
What were they like? Yeah, get that. Yeah, take that. Yeah.
Exactly. Can't stop, won't stop.
Won't stop. Here's the baby. Oh, can't stop, won't stop. Oh, fucking.
That's weird. You guys just rub baby oil on each other while I masturbate and moan like a bitch.
How you living, Pervy Smalls? I'm surrounded by sodomites, right? Like, give me a break.
That non-consensual feeling, baby.
Non-consensual beating, baby.
No doubt, bro. Yeah, you're unconscious.
You're unconscious. That is sick, though. But what do you expect? You give these animals and these savages fucking money and power like that? Are you shocked that they're ripping everything they can, right? Fucking lowlights.
This is it.
I want his old friends to go down. Clive Davis. I want that old perv and those rest of those pervs. He's protecting them. Do you know why? Because they told him, listen, don't worry, no matter how this goes, we'll get you out somehow.
Yeah, right. We'll send in the Delta Force.
Yeah, if we got to you and put you on an island, or we got to pay off a president or whatever.
Oh, let's kick this back to the fall when you and I were both like, why are you not running? Why did you come back? What are you, fucking stupid? Why did you come back here? What are you doing?
Roman Polanski, that
dude, what the fuck? You better make them come get you, right? Like, I'm just being common sense. I don't want anybody to get away with the type of shit he did, but just like, bro, you were gone.
Yeah.
You could have stayed gone.
I don't want him.
What the fuck are you doing?
I don't want to get away with neither. But think if you were him, right? Like, wouldn't he take off to some like perverted Roman Polanski bullshit?
Bro, yeah, I'm right. I'm just saying, right. We're going with common sense. We did that from go back in the fall. You and I both were like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you coming back here? Run, bitch. Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind. And again, right before we went live, we were talking real quick, and we were saying that a few days ago I had read and we talked about the plea agreement that they offered him, but I didn't see what the plea deal held in it. It just said that he turned it down. Apparently today I've seen a couple of people, and you mentioned that you saw a couple of people mentioning that the plea agreement was for 15 years.
Yeah, I heard a few people in chat say it. Yeah.
Right, and I heard a couple of people today too say the same thing. I think Lying Informants was one of the first people that said that to me. Okay, what I said to you before we went live was, okay, well, he's got these 5 charges, right? The one is the RICO that has like the bribery, the arson, the drugs, all that stuff underneath it. That's life. Then he has 2 sex trafficking charges. Each one of those carries 15 years apiece, right? So the 2 underneath that are the transportation amidst prostitution or while engaging in prostitution. It's like taking people across state lines for prostitution. Those are 10 years apiece. And I was saying to you, like, maybe he was trying to push them for, just a maximum of 10 years or something like that, right? Because the 15 years on the sex trafficking, those are minimums.
Oh, that's a minimum.
The 15s, yeah, those are minimums, right? The 15s on those are minimums, and the 10s on the transportation are minimums. So, like, maybe he was like, hey, listen, you make it 10 max, and then maybe, like, we could talk. But they offered him just 15 straight up. I think he's going to end up with a lot more than that. That's just even whether he testifies or not.
Well, him testifying is going to bury him. What's it going to be like? Listen, they liked it. They trust me. Believe me. Even though my counsel in the opening statements told you I was a liar, but believe me, Cassie liked it. She wanted to do it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's great to bring back up, by the way, which is the opening statements. His fucking attorney literally looked the jury in their face and said, we know that he's dishonest. We know that he lies to everybody.
Yeah, so how are you going to put him on? All right, All right, how are you going to put him on the stand when you just told in your opening statements, like you just said, he's a liar and all that shit? Everything, like, what's he going to say on the stand? You know, and everything that comes out of his mouth from his own people, he's a bullshitter. So why would he take?
Right, and he cheats. He's dishonest. He's a liar.
Do you think he
Yep.
will take the
Yep.
stand?
Man,
Because I don't think he will. Because
he has said the whole time, and as recently as just a couple of weeks ago, that he wants to testify on his own behalf. The only thing that I've seen to back that up is I saw one of these news things where they said the only way he probably will not testify is if his case is looking strong.
which is not.
Then his lawyers will be like, "Hey, listen, man, we've got a shot. Don't get up there and play this game. You're
But here's
playing
my
with
thing
fire
is,
at that point."
all right, if it looks strong or not, but like we just talked about in the opening statements, if I was the prosecution after Diddy testified, I would jump up and say, well, remember his own lawyers said he's a liar. So everything he said right now, it's all a lie, right?
And you could practically sit down and close it right there. Yeah, totally. You can if you let him, right? So so according to those lawyers that I was watching that said he probably won't do it unless his case is basically not looking good, right? Then he'll take that last shot, or his lawyers will take the last shot and let him get up there. Ultimately, it's his choice, but he'll probably listen to his lawyers. So let's say his case is going bad, and the lawyers are like, "Fuck it, Hail Mary, bro, go ahead and get up there." You could literally, as the prosecution, dude, just like you said, if you were the prosecution, you could literally just let him get up there and talk. And instead of cross-examining him at all, literally just stand and look at the jury and go, "I just want to remind you that the very first words out of these motherfuckers' mouths at the beginning of this trial was," and you could read it verbatim. I would hold up a piece of paper and put glasses on and make a whole production out of it and be like, "Hold on, let me get this right. You said he was a dishonest, lying, cheating, drug addicted, violent, domestic abuser who likes peeing in people's mouths." Is that correct?
Yeah, and remember, the lying is the biggest thing. How are you going to put him on the stand? He's a known liar.
Yeah, I went hyperbolic, but no, you understand. You could just
his own defense actually clipped his nuts for getting on the stand because they just said my client's a fucking liar. So why put a liar on the stand?
Yep, as a drug addicted, violent, lying cheater. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he will, but like I said, even if he does, you don't think if we pulled that out, never mind lawyers who went to school for that, you don't think they're gonna get up there and be like, okay, just what we said, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You'd have to be a retarded person not to.
I'm half retarded. I'm half retarded myself, and I know that, right?
We got common sense, man. Come on.
Even
it's like, dude, this guy just called himself a liar and a dishonest person and says he cheats at everything. He'd probably fuck you in Monopoly, right? This is the guy you don't even play games with.
You can't play Monopoly with him. He'll steal. Like, I know I had so many family members who used to steal in Monopoly.
Yeah, and once he owns the properties, he's gonna fucking want to see you naked, right? Instead of your rent.
Dude, I used to catch my cousin stealing hotels, and I'm like, "This is Monopoly, dickhead. Why are you stealing? We knew who not to be the banker, right? You knew who not to put in the bank because they're stealing money, even though it's a game. Of course. Yeah, they're stealing money, right? Yeah. But that's crazy though. Yeah, it's Garagos is his lawyer, Mark Garagos' son. Yeah, I don't care if you're Johnny.
The Garagos guy got admonished by the judge. Did you hear about that?
What is it? What do you mean?
He was talking all kinds of shit. Even though he's not part of the trial, like you said, his kid's there on the team, so he's been coming to the trial and he's been covering it in this podcast that he does. And he made a bunch of foul fucking comments, and he was walking a very thin gray line between being inappropriate and releasing things he wasn't supposed, or talk about certain things he wasn't supposed to, and talking shit about people. And the judge fucking called him out for it and said if he did it again, he was going to fine him all kinds of money, throw him the fuck out of the courthouse.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Well, they know they're going to make a bunch of money anyway, so the lawyers don't, they don't know what's up. Oh, they wouldn't.
They're all yeah, they're gonna make a defense. The defense is making a pile of fucking cash.
Yeah.
They're backing a garbage truck up and just dumping cash.
Yeah, they know he's buried too.
Well, I mean, back to what you said earlier, like bringing back a point from our earlier shows again. This is not exactly the lawyer that he started off with. This is like the third batch of lawyers that he's.
And what does that tell you? When you got 3 lawyers that were like, listen, I in my good faith and like in my own conscience, I can't do this because I can't sleep at night. That's a bad.
Yeah, and that's basically exactly what the first lawyer said. I don't remember exactly what the second one said, but they said something to the effect of they didn't think they could win. It wasn't a winnable case. But the third one, so the first and the third ones were basically like, yeah, dude, we honestly just cannot move forward with this case. It's absolutely disgusting. The shit is abhorrent, and we don't want to defend this guy. Doesn't look good.
He should have ran. He should have ran like that Roman Polanski. Yeah, Sharon Tate. Yeah. He should have ran like the Polanski and the rest of those weirdos, right? He should have found some country. He should have just became Jewish and moved to Israel because, seriously, in Israel there is you cannot. I don't care if you're a ripper or a child molester. You cannot extradite somebody from there. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And there's a few other countries like that too. I forget the other.
Bro, he was already in the Caribbean. He could have gone to Antigua. Antigua is beautiful, and it has no extradite treaty.
There's a lot of places like that.
He could have gone down there, bro. There's a pile of fucking money launderers that are wanted that live in Antigua. That'd have been perfect for him. He could be like, yo, I've got my money hidden everywhere. I need you guys to move it around.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to build Antigua a hospital and a school and a park, and we're going to be fucking
Where did
great.
Polanski go? France? He could have went to southern France, right?
Sure.
He could have went to Israel, France, that place you just said. He could have bounced. He could have went in a boat or something, right? Left the country.
He was already in a boat. That's what I'm saying. He came back.
That's his ego.
He was already fucking gone. And that's when this happened. That's why I said to you in the fall when that happened, we were both like, what the fuck? Why are you in California? Why did you come here? You were gone. We've been talking about you should be running. Matter of fact, we even talked about fucking that other guy that ran and went to Thailand or Bali or whatever the fuck it is. The Russell Simmons.
Oh, yeah. He's another one who took off, right?
He fucking ran like hell. So we were saying, dude, this guy should not come back to America. And then it was like within a couple of weeks, we were doing P. Diddy's Pool House every week, following it. And the fucker was in California, and then he went to New York. Yeah, and it was like another 2 weeks before they just arrested him in that hotel room, and they found him with fucking a pile of pink cocaine and a bag full of ecstasy and all kinds of shit. Like, dumb motherfucker.
Maybe it's his ego. Maybe he thinks, I'll beat this. No one's gonna turn on me, or I got a lot of these powerful old rich friends that I'm not gonna tell on because he didn't tell on them, right? So
I'll tell you what, lying informants. Like I said, when he was hollering at me earlier, it was only like a couple comments back, but that was one thing he said. We were talking about him turning down the plea deal. One thing lying informant said, he's like, it's the ego. And I agreed with him.
Yeah. I agree too.
I agreed with him. And again, I don't see how, but maybe the lawyers know they're grasping at straws. Let's be fair. Maybe they know they're grasping at straws, but that goes back to, like, again, before we went live, we were talking about how the defense lawyers are just scum of the earth. They'll know that you just killed some woman and they'll still try and get you home. You know what I mean? They're fucking scum of the earth. And their defense sucks. The things that they're saying are absolutely fucking ridiculous. I hate that they're just like, oh yeah, he beats the shit out of women, but we're not talking about him being mean. There's no charge for being a jerk. Like, you need to settle the fuck down, lady. Right? You need to. Now, just be
his lawyers are what? How many of them you got? 2 or 3?
I'd say whatever it takes.
Is there one of them's got to be a woman too, right? I think. Are they all 3 men?
Yeah, the one. I think the Garagos. I think that's a woman, bro. I think it's. I think it's his daughter. You positive?
Like 75% positive. It's a.
Let me look it up.
I could be wrong, but 75, 80%, it's his son. What's up, lying informant?
Okay, hang on. Hang on, let me look it up because they keep saying her and she and stuff like that. Hang on, let me look it up.
I could be wrong. I'm like 75% sure it's his son.
I honestly don't know. That's why I want to look it up because I have no idea. I just knew it was one of his kids.
It would have knocked me over with a feather if it was the daughter, but I know he has a daughter. All right, it's the daughter. You're right. It's the daughter.
It is a daughter. Okay, That's why I said they kept saying her and she, and I was going to be very confused.
All right, so there's one woman, right? And what, the two dudes on the defense team?
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up who his defense team is right now. That's exactly.
Because she must be a good lawyer. Her father is, right? If she learned from her dad, learned techniques from him. But you can have the best lawyer in the world with this guy. And
fucking skull and bones, Illuminatus bullshit.
yeah, you can have the best in the world, and you're still going to lose. If this guy does get off with no jail time or like 2 years, you know the fix was in.
Okay, so we've got 2 men and 2 women. Okay, you got 2 men.
Well, I figured they would have, especially in a case like this, a defendant like him is going to want to have women lawyers, some women lawyers.
2 of them, yeah. So it's 4 lawyers, or it says his defense team includes prominent attorneys, and they list 4 of them, and 2 of them are men, 2 of them are women. Yeah, and it says
Is the judge is a woman or a man?
It's a man.
Black or white?
Indian.
All right. Gotcha. Now, they said the jury is like half black, half white, a couple of Hispanics.
Yeah, and it was pretty split with men and women too, and the ages were pretty wide. Yeah, they had a couple of older people, a couple of people in their 30s, had a couple of
they wanted
people.
You see, well, on the defense, they want younger people, right? They want a lot of like black young males to maybe be sympathetic with him, right? Stuff like that. The younger, the better, because the younger people are desensitized, and maybe the black guys might feel bad for him, like, or something like that.
Yeah, right. We talked about the prosecutors wanted women.
Yes, exactly.
Because they didn't want men to sit up there and instantaneously, like they wanted to win based on the case. They figured that women would actually look at all of the details. They didn't want the men to become emotional one way or the other.
Usually it's women that are emotional.
Yeah, well, they just when it comes to crimes against women, apparently they were talking about other women are very critical of it and listen to the ins and outs.
Exactly.
Whereas the man will see a woman and say, this happened to me, and they stop thinking.
Oh, they feel bad. Might think she's pretty or something with her. Have some sort of protection thing. They might have a sister or something.
Across the board. Yeah, across the board, though, everyone on all of the shows, all of the lawyers, all of the attorneys are saying that Cassie being like 8 months pregnant the way she is just the worst possible scenario.
She's pregnant?
That could be painted. Cassie's 8 months pregnant.
She steps on that stand pregnant, tells that story.
She's coming up on the stand this week pregnant. Yeah, she's going to be sitting up there crying, talking about all the time she got the shit beat out of her, used like a whore, pissed in her mouth, and all this crazy stuff, drugged, and fucking taken to
She's going to get her revenge this week.
Yeah, they talked about how they had to hide her away in hotel rooms for weeks at a time because of her injuries, because Diddy didn't want anybody to see her all fucked up after he would beat the shit out of her.
Wow.
And she's going to be up there pregnant. Yeah, and all of the attorneys have been like, dude, it's already bad enough that we're going to have a woman up there talking about all this horrible things that happened to her. They said the fact that she's going to be that pregnant sitting up there is going to set off everybody. Yeah. It's going to have everybody like on emotion 10.
No, I guarantee that day his daughters don't even go to court. Watch. Yeah. If they ran out, because they probably remember Cassie, right? They probably liked her and looked up to her and stuff.
And after she was around for a decade.
Yeah, so when she's in court, there's no way the daughters are going to be there if they ran out today.
Yep.
Yeah, no way.
They're probably telling the daughters, they probably already told them, like, over dinner, don't ever do that again. You know how bad that fucking looked for your dad? The shit's not good.
Yeah.
Just don't come.
Yeah,
You can't sit through it. Just don't
Oh,
come.
for sure. The lawyers were, that was a big discussion after today, for sure. If your
Yep.
daughters can't take it, tell them not to come. Them running out of the courtroom like that is a terrible look. Terrible.
Yeah, lying informant says the way they're covering the trial. Hang on, it just fucking went up. Basically, it said the way they're covering the trial for the news via text essentially is unfair to the defense. It's all out of context. I mean, they did get I mean, I've been reading through it. You know, I watched all this stuff today and was listening to it as it happened. And all of that
No, he's
seemed to
right.
at least
He
be in
is
the
right though. Like, you know, when it's all over the news like that, the jury and everything's like almost tainted, right? Like,
well, and I mean, they're definitely
but it's a famous person.
they're cherry picking certain things because, like I told you, they are, like he's saying, they literally are, as I said in the beginning of the show, writing, like the reporters are in the courtroom are just writing like paragraphs into fucking Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or they're delivering those to their news people and they're putting out these snippets, you know, as like a play-by-play, like I call it.
Oh, right.
So it's definitely not word for word, that's for sure. And we are at the mercy of what these people are telling us versus being able to hear it or see it for ourselves. That's true. All I'm saying is the stuff that I watched today, and as I was listening through it, at least all of that stuff was in the articles that I
should have just let a
I
camera
found.
go in there, ain't it? Like with the OJ trial.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for specifically federal courts, like as a blanket rule that they can't film in there.
Yeah,
I don't
I
understand that. Like, I understand if it's a fucking crazy high profile case, right? You got to be careful with some stuff that's federal. It might be terrorists. They might be talking about national secrets or some shit. But if it's not that,
yeah. Someone said earlier they're not allowed to do it at federal. So
yeah, yeah. And like lying, I'm agreeing. Lying informants, like lying informants, just said they should just televise it for full context, not sticking up for Diddy. It's just unfair in general, and that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like unless it has to do with national secrets or something, you know, the public can't know, you know, then there's no reason not to. It's just like any other court. It's kind of weird to have a blanket rule like that. It seems strange.
yeah.
I mean, hell, even some Senate hearings, they still televise them. They just put the people behind some like little visor or blind. They did that with fucking Sammy the Bye, you know, when he testified in front of Congress.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. I've seen that.
Yeah, they just he went in there and narked on everybody in the fucking boxing industry and like was getting a bunch of people in trouble like the little stool pigeon that he is, but they hid him behind this little partition so nobody could see his face.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Little freak. Yeah, so it is strange that you can't videotape in there as a blanket rule. It's odd.
I don't know why.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to be paying attention to this, obviously, like a lot of people in here will be. If shit gets hot and there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens between now and Wednesday, then I'll just make the next hell chat about the Diddy trial too, and we'll keep it going. Whenever anything crazy pops up and we're talking about some gnarly shit, or you know, especially if it swings one way or the other, I'll make sure to pop up a show and have the links ready and stuff like that so we can check it out. Because today was just the first day.
2-month trial?
Yeah.
Come here, boy.
Yeah. And so I said, I figure I'll just like cover it mostly like on the Skull Bro show or like maybe touch on it like on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'll touch a little bit on a Hell Chat, but unless something comes up, it's like pretty, you know, jaw dropping or some crazy shit. They have a couple of witnesses in a day that, you know, like, I mean, and I'm expecting that, especially here in the beginning. I'm expecting there to be a couple of days, probably even this week, which is why I said maybe even again Wednesday. I'm expecting there to be a couple of witnesses that are going to be pretty fucking drop a bomb on the court kind of a thing. Like, especially if Cassie goes today, or I mean, goes tomorrow or Wednesday, that'd probably be worth covering on Wednesday. If one of the other female escorts or women that were trafficked or drugged or whatever show up, we'll see, because they haven't told us who's going to be testifying on what days. I mean, like the day that the drug dealer he testifies, I'm definitely going to want to do a show. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see who testifies this week.
That guy's going to bury Puff Daddy.
Dude, how can he not? Like I said before, he got arrested doing the thing that he was being arrested for. Right? Like, he was wanted. They put the warrant out for him for taking drugs everywhere for Diddy. That was with across state lines to different countries. He was fucking smuggling drugs, and for the purpose of drugging these women. And when they caught him, he was getting on a plane to go to the Bahamas with a bag full of dope for fucking Diddy's freak off parties. Like, he got caught red fucking handed.
Yeah, what?
And then he flipped.
Well, he said
and he flipped.
Happen. It's some some generic guy you don't even know, some like hippie white kid. You think he's gonna not tell on you, right?
Yes, yeah, and it was definitely like this preppy fucking wanna be a G, club kid.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly who he was, man. It's what he
looked
like.
One of those kids who love taking the ecstasy and all that kind of shit, probably.
Oh, for sure, bro. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, because he flipped. And that'll be good when he hits the court. And remember, the drug distribution part is under his RICO. That's the charge he can get life for. The arson that they have people that flip, those people are supposed to testify, or we know that they flipped and made a deal. That arson is under the RICO that he could get life for. Those aren't the sex trafficking. That's not the transportation of prostitution. Everybody forgets that this RICO charge, not everybody, but a lot of people don't realize, I guess is another way to put it, that, underneath the RICO charges, like a dozen charges, dude. It's all the arson, the bribery, the assaults, the kidnapping, and they have people to fucking testify to these things. So, the 15-year deal starts looking better and better and better when you realize that the drug distribution and drugging of people is under the RICO, and that guy flipped. The arson is under the fucking RICO. Those guys flipped, right? They've got people testifying about the drugs already being drugged and being on them. They've got more coming. So the kidnapping, right? All that stuff is just not, I don't see how he gets out of the RICO. And that's the one that they could give him life for. That 15 starts looking better and better and better when you start really looking
at
life
is 20 or 25 years. What is it?
Yeah, I think it's 25.
All right, so all right, 25 years, and he'd probably get paroled after how many years?
You do 70% in the feds.
All right, so yeah, he's an old. How old is he? I'm 46. He's going to be what, 56, 55.
He's 55. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get out as an old gray man, but he'll get out though because of his money and power, and his friends he didn't tell on. You don't think they're going to shake somebody down in the future or frame somebody to help get him out somehow in the future? He'll probably do 3-4 years in there, sadly.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully I'm wrong and they bury this perverted monster.
Yeah, and we'll see what the rest of these witnesses say too. We'll see how the case unfolds, man.
He's going to be doing freak-offs in the senior wing of Sing Sing.
No doubt.
Well, here's another thing about him. He could, like, a normal guy goes to jail, there's no more sex, right? You can never be with a woman again. But when someone like him goes to jail, they can still have sexual romances with creatures in there,
Oh yeah, and that'll be totally consensual. It'll be no more non-consensual. It'll be the fucking consensual lady boy.
Well, you got the lady boys in there, or just the regular Rickyunes, So he's gonna have a ball.
Oh, he'll have all the giant wang he wants. Yeah, he'll be able to find all the giant wang he wants in there,
and he's gonna run the joint with money. He has money. Anybody with money, it doesn't matter who you are. If you got, in case you're like a total creep. But they'll look at him with that money and do anything for him. Gods, right?
We'll see who's loyal to him in the world, though, that's willing to fucking move that money around, bro. He might just, if they put him away for years and stuff.
He didn't telling.
Well, the money that they, right. I'm just saying the money that he would be able to spend would have to be hidden already because everything else the government's going to take as part of the enterprise.
Well, I'm sure there's
all those bank accounts, all those businesses, all those houses, all the cars are going to be gone. So whatever accounts he has over in Europe, which he certainly has, but follow me, I'm just saying, but it's going to take certain people. Hopefully it's like one of his sons only, right? Hopefully it's like his mom or something, because the other people might just fuck him.
Listen, he didn't tell on people. He didn't give up those old Clive Davis guys. And
not yet.
No,
he fucks around and gets 30, 40 years.
Maybe if he gives them up later, yes. But if he don't give them up, they're going to look out for him. He'll have massive money in there, even if it's not on his books. There's a lot of people that will be so happy that he didn't put them in it that will be there for him. You don't think he's going to reach out to him and like, hey, I looked out for you.
Oh, yeah, remember the time I gave you that 15-year-old little person?
Yeah. Remember I gave you that little midget on that Saturday night?
Yeah, I served him to you on a fucking plastic salad tray. Remember that?
Yeah.
No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it. Yeah, but plus he'll have all those little rickyunes and ladyboys in there sewing blankets and T-shirts and stuff. Yeah, selling all their ass.
Oh yeah.
He'll be hidden in the corner of a dark cell masturbating.
Yeah, he's a freak. What's up, B1? I think my dog got bit by something on his neck. Look up.
Oh yeah, that's no good, bro.
He's got like some. I just put peroxide on it and stuff. He's got like some. It's like a big lump. He got bit. It was bleeding.
Did you look at it close? Was it like is there two holes like a spider, or just like maybe an infection from getting stuck by something?
I've been looking as I've been on here, and I've been cutting some of his hair off with a scissor so I can get even a better look. But he wants to play. Yeah. He's playing tug of war right now, but something got his neck, and it's like swelled like a, and not it's like the size. Let me see the size. Come here, boy. Come here. It's like the size of a little rubber ball, or maybe a little bigger.
Well, if you can get the swelling to go down, you'll be able to see where it's originating from a lot easier for sure.
Yeah. He wants these plays playing tug of war, but still, I don't know what the fuck it is. Got me nervous. I wake up this one.
Yeah, double agent provocateur has something in common with Diddy.
It could be a tick, honeybee. It might be.
It says, I always found the more money I accumulated, the more giant wang was available. Well, Diddy had that same problem, man. The more money he got, the more giant wang.
Wait, flush it out with olive oil? It might be a tick, because I ripped a tick off of him last week in the same. I'm glad you said that. In the same spot, I took a tick off of him.
Oh, so what, you think you didn't get the whole thing, like his head stuck in there or something, or you think it's just infected? It
might be because it swelled up. It might be. Have to draw it out with heat too.
Yeah, I know you can use all kind of like nail polish remover. That'll do it too. Yeah, there's a few different things you can use. I never heard the olive oil one though. I got to be honest. I never heard that. I'm surprised I've never heard that one before, but I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
How long?
No, it was a tick, I believe. I remember ripping one off in this spot.
And yeah, Mandy, they're saying it's going to be 2 months. I don't know if it's going to be much. We'll see if they get off the rails. This judge seems pretty hell-bent on keeping them on schedule. And the lawyers seem like they want to get the shit over and done with too. Like even today when they had to get those last jurors picked because of the bullshit they went through and losing a couple of them, they said that they were going to do it in 20 or 30 minutes. And that's exactly what they did. They picked those 3 final jurors this morning and got straight to opening statements and just started killing it throughout the day. So the defense people were super annoying. They were like trying to strike everything that the prosecution was saying. They were calling, objections to absolutely everything. So finally the judge was starting to get kind of pissed off. Yeah, he kind of admonished them a few times for the number of objections and some of the things that they were objecting on. It's like an idiocracy. What is it exactly that you was objectifying on?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it out before it does get infected, because I think it is infected. It just blew up to just like noticed it today.
Yeah, what'd you start with? Alcohol, putting alcohol on it? That'll help dry it up.
Yeah, but put some peroxide too, but I gotta get that tick out.
Oh, yeah, if it's still in there, that sucks.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I gotta jump off.
Yeah, man, go do your thing. Take care of Rocco. We made it through the P. Diddy stuff,
All right, I'll
bro.
talk to you later.
All right, man, be safe. Yeah, we made it through our day one of the Diddy trial. We're just kind of bullshitting there at the end. But I wanted to do this one today. It was the first day of the trial. You know, opening statements are always a good place to start to kind of see what the tone's going to be, right? Like the positions of each side. We can see that the defense is taking the position of douchebaggery. Those have taken a stance of just grasping at straws, man, and saying some things that are very, 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 very off-putting to most people, I would think. You know, the prosecution may be overplaying their hand in some cases. We really don't know. They've had the gag order in place for so long. You know, they've been accumulating these witnesses, and, you know, some of them, their names have not and will not be released, that they will, you know, be up there testifying without using their real name. I'm sure it'll eventually come out, but at least, you know, for the time being, my point is we don't know a lot about all of the charges or who might be testifying on those charges. So only time will tell exactly how thin or how strong the prosecution's case is. But based on the opening statements of the defense, it doesn't look good so far, regardless of what the fucking prosecution's got. The stuff that the defense is saying is just absolutely insane to me and very, very off-putting. It doesn't seem like a solid defense at all by any stretch of the imagination. But we will see. You know, we'll see who else testifies tomorrow. We had two witnesses, which was the LA police officer who was the security guard on the night that we see the video of Diddy beating up Cassie. He testified about that whole incident. And then we had a prostitute. We had the very first male escort to come up and talk about a lot of really gross, degenerate things, though, that were, he says, a lot of times performed even when she didn't really want them to be. And, you know, he talked about the violence and the coercion and the drug use and things like that. So that didn't look good for Diddy today either. I'm not sure exactly. They keep saying this week, but I'm not sure which day Cassie is going to testify. People are saying could be tomorrow, could be Wednesday. It depends on how fast they get through some of these other jurors. But again, we don't even know who those people are. In either case, if it gets really wild or some fucking like bombs hit, you know what I mean, in the trial, and some crazy shit comes out, then maybe we'll talk about it again on Wednesday for a hell chat. But if it just kind of continues through with a few of the witnesses that we're expecting, or the type of testimony we're expecting, you know, with like different prostitutes and escorts and all that kind of thing. You know, if there's nobody that testifies for arson or the drug smuggling, or again, if there's no like big bombs dropped, we'll just wait until Friday and talk about it on the Skull Bro show. We'll do a little highlight. But if shit blows up, we'll talk about it again on Wednesday and on Friday for the Skull Bro show. Fuck it, right? In either case, everybody have a great night. It was good seeing all of you. Hopefully, maybe you heard something tonight that you did not pick up today. You know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think based on the things we read tonight from the defense and from the prosecution. You know, let me know what you think about the tone setting. I wonder how many people might agree with me that the defense is coming off with starting off with a very off position that doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to me. you know, like MRE and I were talking about, you literally came out and called this guy dishonest and a liar and a cheater and a drug addict and a violent, and then said, but there's no charge for being a jerk, right? That's insane to me. Another case, leave a comment. You know, let me know what you think about the trial so far. What you think about the positions each side is taking. Maybe anything we said about the cop. Some of the stuff we talked about with the prostitute. You know, let us know your opinions on that. And we usually try and comment back. Hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. If I don't see you Wednesday, I'll see you on Friday.